What's up, guys? Here for the weekly review video. I'm going to start off the video with covering some of the trades that have happened since the last video up until today. So to start, we had Fat and Garrett number 2 make a deal last Wednesday. Fat sent Philip Lindsay for T.Y. Hilton. I mean, that's super even. Really, it's more about team need, in my opinion, there. I don't really think either one necessarily got an advantage. It's basically a RB2 for a wide receiver 2. I mean, that's kind of how it went there, in my opinion. So next trade up, looks like we had Orlando trade Tevin Coleman to John for Allen Robinson and the Bears defense. I think Orlando probably got the better end of the trade. I think John gave up maybe a little too much for Tevin Coleman. He is, I think, the starting running back for the 49ers, but he is definitely in a timeshare with Breida, so not getting 100% of the work. Allen Robinson is obviously the number 1 receiver for the Bears. Either Chase Daniel or Mitch Trubisky are definitely looking for him. It doesn't really matter who's back there. He's probably a low-end wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, in my opinion. Obviously, Coleman's, a running back 3 flex guy. Obviously, getting the Bears defense thrown on top of that kind of, sways things for Orlando, in my opinion, because the Bears defense is obviously elite. Just my thoughts there. And then today we had a trade go through. This was Garrett number 2, who acquired Philip Lindsay last week and used him 1 week. Traded him to Dakota for Miles Sanders and Hunter Henry. I guess just based off of name value, I kind of like the deal for Garrett number 2. I do think Miles Sanders will be a second half of the season kind of guy. Hopefully a decent guy there. Obviously, Hunter Henry killed it this week. Well, whether or not he can keep that up, and given who Dakota already has on his team, it's not a value to him necessarily. So I could see, he got the upgrade he wanted there. It's obviously team need there. Looking at the names is one thing, but looking at the team needs that were addressed there, probably pretty good across the board there. So I'm going to jump into the matchups here. I've looked at the standings. We have obviously a very competitive league minus a couple guys at the bottom. Obviously, we have 4 teams that have a combined total of 3 wins. So that's those guys are the bottom of the barrel shit. So when you play them, it's almost an automatic win. And then we have 1 guy at 3-3, and then 7 people are either 4-2 or better. Right now, I'm sitting at 4-2, and if the playoffs started, I wouldn't make the playoffs. So I need some of you guys ahead of me to fucking lose. And obviously, I'll get to play a good bit of you along the way. So we'll see what happens. Got Tyreek Hill back this week, so hopefully he can keep balling out like he did. First matchup I got is my matchup versus Garrett number 2. I won this one 132 to 110. I'm getting it pulled up here. It looks like Wentz did pretty well for me, along with David Johnson. Obviously, Johnson went into the game with the back injury, didn't know how much he was going to play. So glad to get a good effort out of him. I knew he had a good matchup. Obviously, Tyreek Hill had the 2 touchdowns. Not really anything else out of my team. Luckily, I didn't really have any sore spots. Robert Woods scored a touchdown, a rushing touchdown. I don't believe he had any catches in the game. But luckily the touchdown gave him 7 points, and I can deal with that on occasion. A couple guys in double digits on the bench, but nothing too crazy there. Looking at Garrett number 2's team, obviously Jared Goff sucked really bad for him, 1 point. Derrick Henry only got him 4. He did have a big day out of Broncos defense with 20. Kicker got him 13. Philip Lindsay got him 15, and then he traded him away today. Alshon had 19. Mike Evans with a nice game with 16, and nothing on his bench at all. Some injuries going on there, and some guys hopefully coming back for him soon. Next matchup I have was I mean, not even a game. It was Fat, the guy who I have ranked number one, versus Josh, the guy who I have ranked last, and obviously the matchup kind of proved that out. Looking at Josh's team, he decided to, I believe he cut Baker Mayfield for Gardner Minshew, who got him a whole 5 points. Had Le'Veon Bell get him 12. Aaron Jones, who he traded for, got him a whopping 6. Just a lot of guys in single digits. Vance McDonald 1, kicker with 1. Nothing on his bench really. That had Devontae Parker who had 10, but nothing else. I mean, his bench just looks like the fucking waiver wire, to be honest. I mean, it's rough season for him. Looking over here at Fat's team, obviously not a rough season for him. He's got Russell Wilson with 29. McCaffrey had a rough day as far as yardage goes, but was able to find the end zone twice, got 20. Fournette with 15. Fitz had 10. Sutton had 10. Ingram got him 15. Pat's defense with 28. I mean, they've been a fucking MVP this year. Nothing really going on the bench. Did have Dak with 18. No real sore spots in his lineup, really. Chark was the lowest score with 6, along with his kicker, but I mean that's not too bad. Chark had a tough matchup against Lattimore there. Next up, we got Phillip versus Michael. Phillip won this one 119-96. Phillip had Kyler Murray ball out with 29. Devonta Freeman had 2 touchdowns with 25. Austin Hooper had a big game with 22. Redskins got him 12 points. Nothing really to speak of on the defense. Had a 49ers defense with 12 points, so it didn't matter who he played there. Malcolm Brown, I'm sure he was expecting some big things out of him. Got him 4 points. Keenan Allen with another bad game. Not really sure what's going on there. I think that's the third one in a row with a dud with 4. Cooper Kupp with 4. Demarcus Robinson with 0. Some of the sore spots in his line, if it wasn't for those 3 big games, he got pretty lucky there. Looking over here at Michael's team, Rodgers did all right with 18. Dalvin Cook with 12. He had a rough matchup. Julian Edelman with 16. Justin Tucker got him 13. Nothing on his bench. Some sore spots. Marvin Jones only got him 3. Not really. You expect a little more than that, but obviously he's an up and down kind of player. Melvin Gordon still hasn't started producing yet. Only got him 6. Tyler Lockett got him 10. Hawkinson with 4. Damian Williams with 8. I mean, just didn't have those big games that he needed to really compete this week. Up next, we got Dakota versus Garrett. He won this one. Dakota won this game 128-83. Looking at Dakota's team, Lamar Jackson with 31. James Conner had a big game. It seems like the Pittsburgh Steelers, just every play is to give it to Conner. I watched the game. It was nonstop giving it to Conner. That was the whole game plan. He had 28. Sanders did well with 17. Julio with 15. Terry McLaurin with 24. Not really much on the bench. Did have Hunter Henry, who's technically in his IR spot. That's probably why he was trying to deal somebody, so he didn't have to cut anybody. 26. Smith-Schuster with 1 point sucks. He played Gerald Everett, who got him 2. Cowboys defense with 3. Kicker with 4. So he did have some slow spots in the lineup. Looking at Garrett's team, he had Pat Mahomes with 19. Curtis Samuel with 22, and that was that's about it. Tom Brady on the bench with 22. He had Jamal Williams on the bench who had 22. Mixon only got him 5. Deebo Samuel with 3.5. I mean, I'm not really sure why you have Deebo Samuel or Chris Conley, who got him 0. Just some bums there, in my opinion. Obviously, he's got Shepard on the bench, who's out with injury. Same with Devontae Adams, so dealing with that there. So a little rough patch there. Up next, we got one of the closer matchups of the week, or the closest matchup of the week, I believe. John beat Dalton. This was 139-132, so a good game here. John had Deshaun Watson ball out at 29. Kerryon Johnson got him 13. Carlos Hyde with 18. Michael Thomas with 13. Chris Godwin with 20. Coleman got him 13. Mark Andrews got him 11. I mean, everybody on his team produced. I mean, even his low score was 7 points out of MVS, but I mean, that's really not bad considering that guy. Everybody on his bench had 0. Either his guys were hurt, suspended, or on bye week. So no coaching decisions needed to be made there for him. Dalton's team, Matt Ryan with 31, Peterson at 15, Hopkins had 12, Robbie Anderson had that big play, so he ended up with 21, Kittle had 15, Panthers defense with 18, that's a big play there, nothing on his bench. Jordan Howard only got him 5, that hurt. Obviously, Amari Cooper leaving that game with the quad injury hurt him as well, only getting the 1 point there. Obviously, if Cooper plays in that game, that he could have maybe won this matchup, but he got hurt, and he may be out. Still haven't been decided yet. Obviously, as a Cowboys fan, I hope he plays, but for fantasy purposes, I have Michael Gallup, so it might be a benefit to me. Last matchup we have here is Orlando versus Derek, 155 to 105. Looking here at Orlando's team, Kirk Cousins decided to play this year. He got 27, Zeke with 24, Chubb had 27, Stephon Diggs had 40. Odell Beckham got him 13. He had Golden Tate on the bench with 19, Duke Johnson on the bench with 12. So he had some good guys there. Will Dissly got hurt in the game, ruptured his Achilles. He'll be out for the season. He got a dud there. Josh Gordon only got him 1, but his other players obviously picked up the slack. One of my leagues, I had the Stephon Diggs, and I decided to put him in at the last minute Sunday morning over Chris Thompson in a full point PPR league, so that worked out very well for me. Looking over here at Derek's team, he had Andy Dalton, who had 14. Chris Carson with 24, Thielen had 15, Galladay had 15, 13 out of his kicker. Not much going on his bench, but I look at his lineup. He's got Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley was ruled out, and he's ruled out pretty early in the week, I believe. I mean, it wasn't like a last minute situation. Let's see. I mean, Saturday afternoon is when they show the news he's been ruled out. He was listed as doubtful Friday afternoon. Obviously, I know Derek was at the beach. He, quote unquote, had poor reception, but he had enough reception to chat with us in Facebook Messenger. And if you can chat in Facebook Messenger, you can edit your fantasy football lineup. It just shows priorities. Like, this has got to be important to you. I understand your team sucks. That's your own fault. You shouldn't have picked Todd Gurley in the first round. I mean, that's just my opinion, but you got to take him out of your lineup if he's hurt, man. I understand, it wouldn't have made a difference in the long run because it looks like your next best option would have been to play Drake, and he only got 10 points, so you still would have lost, but you only know that after the fact. You don't know that going in, so, let's get our lineups in. I don't give a shit what you're doing. I don't care if you're in the hospital, bro. You got your phone. Everybody's got their phone. Make the fucking doctor set your lineup. If I go into a coma, my wife is gonna know. You better set my lineup for me. You at least put guys in there that are playing. But it is what it is. We got the matchups here. I mean, got the power rankings here. Nothing has changed across the bottom for the most part. It goes Josh in last, Garrett in 11, Derek in 10, Garrett number 2 is 9. I'm still in 8th. And then we got some adjustments here. Dalton drops to number 7. Dakota moves up to number 6. Michael drops to number 5. Philip moves up to number 4. And then the top 3 remain the same. Orlando in number 3, John in number 2, and Fat in number 1. So waivers process tomorrow at noon. Obviously, John had some questions last week about the waivers, so let me clear that up here. So waivers process every day at noon. The reason for that is if breaking news happens, let's say Friday, or let's use last week for example. Friday came out that Todd Gurley was doubtful with a quad injury. If Malcolm Brown was a free agent, if we did not have if we had like normal waivers like a lot of leagues, whoever got that news first would have been able to go right to the waiver wire and grab Malcolm Brown. So it's basically whoever gets the breaking news first. Obviously, a lot of us have Twitter. A lot of us have, whatever different ways to get fantasy news. And I'm pretty much locked on to my phone or a computer 90% of the time. So I can probably get access to it super quick and make that play. Some people have jobs that don't accommodate that, and to make it fair for everybody, we have it where it processes every day at noon. It gives everybody equal opportunity to pick up free agents, so when breaking news happens, it's not first come, first serve, and somebody gets a massive advantage because their phone was in their pocket, or they had access to the computer and saw it immediately. It's just the best way to make it fair. Obviously, if we ran it like a lot of leagues run, it would be a big benefit to me because, like I said, I get notified immediately and almost all the time can have access to it. But it's not fair to everybody else. If you have a job where you're not allowed to have your phone with you, or obviously maybe you have a lot of meetings, or just whatever may happen. We decided that this is the best way to make it fair. Noon is the best time to do it because middle of the day, so you can make waiver claims in the morning or the day before, in the afternoon, night, whatever. It processes every 24 hours. The only thing that kind of sucks is I don't have waivers processed on Monday. So if you got guys playing Monday that may be hurt, you're going to have to make that decision for your lineup on Sunday. And same with Sunday, like, if somebody gets ruled out at 12:30 and you didn't pick up the backup to put in their spot, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's tough luck. I mean, you're just going to have to manage your team accordingly, plan accordingly for certain situations that may arise, make the best decision for your team. But we have it set up like that. I think everybody agrees across the board. It's the fairest way to do it. And I think we've been doing it that way for probably the past year or two. So we're going to definitely keep it that way unless somebody has a better suggestion that could keep it obviously fair. I'm always open to make changes and make things better and more competitive and keep things fun and enjoyable for everybody. So best of luck to everybody. I will have my picks out on Thursday if I can remember, which I've done it every week except one. And I think Orlando pointed out I went perfect this past week. That'll probably never happen again, so I will definitely take good pleasure in that. And thanks for Philip for finally somebody winning the upset of the week for me. See you guys next time.